This episode of the Party Loaded podcast is proudly sponsored by Audible.com. Check out their awesome catalogue of audiobooks with over 180,000 titles to choose from. And be sure to grab a free audiobook on us and support the show by visiting audibletrial.com/endgame.
Let's party.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Party Loaded. It is Wednesday the 5th of April, moving out of Mad Munch into Foolish April? I don't know. Anyway, speaking of Mad Fools, I've got a couple joining me tonight. We have the ladies of the Party Loaded team. We have Imogen, hello.
Hello, how you going?
We're good. And I have Jam as well.
Hi, Luke.
Two people who you may recognise from previous episodes as all of them, nearly.
Most of them.
Most of them.
Some of them?
Some of them, yeah.
Well, technically Jam's been in all episodes because we've always had a temp Jam.
That is true. That is
Have
true.
we?
No, I don't think so.
No, that's not true. Ignore me entirely. She's lying. Spurious facts.
We may not have actually officially announced one, but I think mentally we've all considered that we've had a temp Jan every single episode, so it's been one of those
my
things.
cool alter ego is my temp Jam.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that a good thing?
Well, Jam, people mistake you and I when we're on Mumble Chat so many times, so we might as well be the same person.
That's true. I mean, who's to say we're not?
I know.
Very crafty mic work going on here.
I'm to say that you're not. I will not. No. That just gets way too weird.
We broke Luke.
No,
we broke Luke.
You broke me.
Yes.
Ollie is not here tonight, but we will continue on. No temp Ollie. We just don't roll like that. To temp Jam or, what was the thing we decided on for you, Imogen? The Bizarro
Shadow
Memos?
Memos?
Shadow
Shadow
Memo. That's
Memos.
the one.
Yeah.
We'll have another one of those.
My
soon, I'm sure.
apprentices.
Oh, no. All right. Well, anyway, we actually have some cool new games that we've all been playing, which we can talk about tonight. So I would like to throw to you, ladies, to kick off with the first mysterious entry. So what have you been doing?
Oh, those segues, though. You're getting so good. You're learning. It was from all of my lessons from last week. Jam and I played Mysterium this week, which is
cool.
the awesome conversion. So Mysterium, if you've not heard of it before, is traditionally a board game. You play the role of a detective being led by a very spooky ghost who basically acts kind of like a game master or dungeon master, but cannot speak and can only communicate through very obscure and weird artistic cards to try and point you in the right direction. Think Cluedo crossed with charades.
It's like a
but with
seance,
art.
basically. The whole thing is built around a seance.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
They're all like psychics and detectives and things. And so they've converted the board game into a cross-platform video game. So you can play on your iPad, you can play on Steam, which is pretty cool. So we've had it for a while, or at least known of it for a while. We really enjoy playing the board game. So Jam and I had a quiet Saturday evening, and so we decided to sort of boot it up and we made some friends.
It was amazing.
Yeah, so we played a big 7-person game. Obviously we have access to team chat through Mumble, so the people that we knew and we were playing with, we could talk to each other, but we stuck to the rules when I played the ghost and everything else, but can confirm it isn't any easier to help people try and guess what they have.
Oh my gosh.
Online. Can confirm it is much easier to pick the cards because they all plop in front of you. When you play the actual version of the game as the ghost and you're sitting behind this screen, you've got about 500 cards and you've got to go through them all individually and you draw out 7 cards around and it's all very complicated.
I would say the paper game has quite a bit of groundskeeping involved.
Oh, definitely. And,
So much setup.
It's one of those games that unless someone knows how to play it or teaches you how to play it, it can be a very steep learning curve, but we've been lucky enough to always have someone who's quite experienced in the gameplay. I quite enjoy playing the ghost in that game, but I've always played with Jam. Jam did not enjoy playing the ghost.
It was a mistake to try being ghost for the first time near midnight.
Yeah.
That was a huge
After a long day.
mistake.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to hurry. Oh my god, these cards. I can't give you a clue. But still had so much fun. It's really amazing to see the cards on screen and everything laid out for you nice and cleanly so that you've got a really good visual of what's going on, because when you're playing tabletop with a lot of people, it can be hard to see what's going on elsewhere because you get the opportunity to agree or disagree with what people think the clues are pointing to get yourself extra points, or to just help them out, because if the whole group doesn't get through their first set of clues by a certain round, you all collectively fail. So yeah, I really liked the digital version. It makes it so easy, and it means you can, just jump online even if you're in your pajamas and play.
Yeah.
Yeah,
great.
and as the ghost, when you play in real life in front of people and somebody you know quite well, let's say Jam, for example, you give her a card and then all I have to do is just stare at the table. So whenever she's saying things, I'm not indicating to her that that's right or wrong. And parts of you die as they completely build an entire other theory about how it could be another person or weapon or room and just go off on a weird tangent.
Every time I changed my mind, I was wrong, and I should have stuck with my gut instinct.
So Jam would be like, "Oh, it's this. Yeah, definitely this." I'm like, "Wow, she's nailing it. Like Jam and I are a great team." And then just before the end, she'd be like, "No, I think it's this." I'd be like, "Mother."
It was pretty hilarious, and then I'd go, "Sorry, Mimo."
I think
and then the other ones, like the second I get the card, I'm like, "Oh, I know exactly what you meant," and like, bam, done. Yeah. Just no hesitation. Whereas when I was Ghost, I was like, no one's going to get this in a million years because these cards have nothing to do with the other cards.
I find that playing with people that you know in that game is like a massive double-edged sword, because if you understand the way that your close friends think, it can be good, can give you a bit of an edge. But by the same token, you can totally Vicini yourself without even realizing it. It's like, I know that she knows that I know that she'll think this, but she'll also be thinking that this is this, and then oh my god, you just do your own head in. It's ridiculous. It's a tough game. It gets
super complicated.
Yeah.
So worth it, though.
Number one, I fully recommend if you get an opportunity to, like at a PAX or at some other, like a game shop or something, and someone's happy to show you how to play, that you give the board game a go because it's really great.
Yeah.
But alternatively, if you don't have like a regular gaming group and people you can, this is an absolutely awesome way to experience the game. Nothing was taken away from it. It's exactly the same card art and everything as well, Luke. So
oh, nice.
It's the exact game. Like it's the same picture dream sequence cards that you get and everything. It's got a real great feel to it. They've actually just released a new update, which means you can now password protect games. So one trouble we had is that we had a game set up for people that we knew to join, but if random people jumped in the lobby, they just jump in whatever available game, which means we then have to quit out of it and join like another one of those types of things. So being able to set up a game for it to be password protected is really cool. There seemed to be quite an active, like every now and again, there was at least a couple people jumping on to see who else was on. And there is a story mode. So even if you get the app on your tablet or iPad or phone, or even on Steam, you can still play and learn. Basically, it works like the tutorial, but there seems to be quite a lot of substance to it. So
sweet. The whole cross-platform thing between PC and iOS and mobile devices sells me instantly. That is awesome. More games need to do that. That is really, really cool.
Yeah, and for us, we have a lot of people who might not be able to sit in front of their computer, but they certainly can jump on an iPad and play a game or something like that, or vice versa. And also, when we go traveling and stuff as a group, or even if I go traveling for work, if you guys go, hey, we're playing Mysterium, do you want to play? It's much easier for me to hop on and use my iPad just with an internet connection and play.
Yeah. And it's only $5 US on Steam. It's just so well priced. Yeah.
That's really good.
It was more than that.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insanely good for what the game is. Even just for the story mode, I'd say that was worth it.
Considering the full price board game is up around the $80 Australian mark plus, I think.
It was $80 to $90 for that. Really great game. I don't know who the designer for that game was. There's a couple of other games that they do as well, I know, that are quite good. But yeah, Mysterium. So check it out on Steam or on iPad. And just side spruiking here that we do have a Steam group. So if you're on Steam and you add Jam, Mimo, Luke or Ollie, then you can always hit us up and say, hey, do you want to play some Mysterium? That would be neat.
Nice. Well, from an unknown designer to an unknown player, Jam, what do you got on your list this week?
Segue.
I'm trying real hard this week, guys. I'm not. I'm really not.
Yeah, no, this one was a no-brainer. I picked up Playerunknown's Battlegrounds because it is all the rage at the moment.
Oh, it's all over them nets. Absolutely.
I know.
And into Weebles.
It's thanks to my brother. So he'd been watching Let's Plays and whatnot, streamers. I don't know. He's like, this looks like so much fun. Is it alpha? I don't even know. I should know this. So it's early stages, but, this guy's known for his mods and amazing scenarios that he creates from other games. He's made this Hunger Games style
Battle Royale, I would say. It's probably more like...
Yeah. So you can go jump in single player or teams of 2, 3 or 4. Mm-hmm. And basically you fly in on a plane over this gigantic ass map with, one of 100 people. Everyone parachutes out, and from there it's, scramble and survive. You run around, try to gear up really quick because you drop with nothing. And there's a big blue circle, and the big blue circle shrinks periodically. And you've got a little timer telling you when it's going to shrink, and you can see on the map where it's going to shrink down to. And if you're outside the blue circle at any point, you're just constantly taking damage. Like, it's slow, but it's persistent. So you've got 1 life, and, a really good headshot kills you instantly. So it's just pure survival. You've got to keep an eye out for other people, gear yourself up as best as possible, keep within the blue circle, dodge the occasional airstrike.
Oh, really?
which, it's this like smaller red square of utter doom. Like, you don't necessarily die if you're running through it, but you just take so much damage.
So these are not airstrikes by other players, obviously. They're just like random.
No, it's just random. Yeah. And there's little towns scattered around. There's big open expanses of nothingness, which leave you very exposed. There are rivers, so if you land north of the river and it shrinks down to the south of the river, you've got, a couple of bridges you can cross, and you can be pretty sure if people have had time to set up, they're keeping an eye on that bridge with a sniper rifle that they've conveniently located. I only played 2 games, so I don't have a fantastic idea yet, but I had a lot of fun. The first game I played solo, and I got to 27 out of 100, and I was playing completely passively because I was just learning the keys. I landed myself on the very edge of the blue circle, far away from a lot of people, and I just kept hugging the edge in as it shrank. And the first time I proper saw someone, I thought, oh, here we go, right, I've got my gear and I'm going to take this guy out. And I dropped prone and I was crawling forward to line up a shot. I just died. So there must have been someone walking up behind me going, they have no idea I'm here.
Oh, it doesn't show a replay of what actually happened to you? You kind of just have to guess?
No, you're just dead.
Oh, no.
Just dead.
Ah.
So when you're playing, the second game I played was in a team of 3 with my brother and my cousin. Now, I was relying on them to carry us because my brother has already been in the top 15.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd make an early call that your brother would be an absolute prick to play against in this game. I'm sure. Yeah.
Yes, except they had me. Although I wasn't the first to drop, to be fair. I was still, learning how it goes. We got into a bit of a firefight. Didn't kill anyone. Don't even know if my bullets hit anyone. But I also got stuck while I was prone on something, which meant that as I was bleeding out, I was trying to crawl toward them to get a first aid heal. And I just wasn't moving anywhere. So that was a bit unlucky. But yeah, it's good fun. I had some trouble to start with. It took me 2 days to get the game working. I had to wait for a patch. I was getting the menu background pop up, but no text or buttons. Even though I spent 2 hours troubleshooting. But, it is early days. If it had gone on much longer, I probably would have put in for a refund, but they fixed it. They're trying to address the game-breaking glitches pretty quickly, and they're still working on the content. But, yeah, it's good fun. I can see myself playing it some more, and definitely probably not with my brother because I just drag him down. But it just looks absolutely thrilling. Apparently he's seen the funnel few people alive. He's seen the map shrink down to like this tiny circle around a few buildings.
Oh wow.
And it's like just this frantic, oh my god, them or me.
Yep.
So yeah, nice. Really neat game. So many people are enjoying it and it's quite funny. I actually started after they'd set up an Oceania, I think it is, server for the Aussies. Before that, they had to be on the Asian servers. And apparently that was quite amusing because there was a lot of Asian singing and chanting going on at the start of every game when they're trying to build up the 100-player server.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's good fun. I see myself playing more. I think we should all play it as a group. I think that would be freaking hilarious.
I'm kind of keen. I must admit, it does appeal to me quite a bit. I'm not a massive Hunger Games fan because it's a bit too sort of Hollywood for me. But Battle Royale's awesome. The original movies.
And it's just so messy. They've got vehicles, but they just make you a huge target. They do help you get around, and they help you sort of stay outside the zone until you have to run in.
Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming you can use the vehicles as a weapon too, like drive over dudes and that sort of thing?
I believe so. I'm fairly certain my brother's been doing that. But, so early access, it's $30 US on Steam at the moment, Playerunknown's Battlegrounds. If you like that sort of thing, if you've played any of his other mods and enjoyed them, check it out online, watch some other people playing. You'll know pretty quickly if it's the sort of thing you'll enjoy.
Nice. Well, as I mentioned on the show closing last week, this last week I picked up the new title by Ron Gilbert, Mr. Grumpy Gamer himself, and Gary Winnick, book called Thimbleweed Park. So for anyone who's not aware, Ron Gilbert's very, very well known for his work on some of the early point-and-click adventure game LucasArts titles like Monkey Island and Maniac Mansion, Day of the Tentacle, that sort of stuff. And this is very much a game in that ilk. So Thimbleweed Park basically puts you in a seat thinking that you are playing a point-and-click adventure game 20 years ago. This is exactly what the game is like. It's awesome. It is so nostalgic. It is crazy. So the art style, one thing that's probably a little different is I can't remember how many of those older games actually had full voiceover audio. I think a lot of it was just text on screen. But they've got full VO for this one, and it's actually quite amusing because the accents are just weird. Some of these characters. So now the setting for this game, probably the best way I can describe it is it's kind of like X-Files meets Twin Peaks. So you basically you play the role of several different characters. The two main ones that you sort of kick off with, I can't even remember their names, but let's just call them Bizarro Mulder and Bizarro Scully, because that's basically what they are. And you're investigating a murder in the town of Thimbleweed Park. And it basically takes you all around the town, sort of trying to uncover clues as to what's happened with this dude. And there's, obviously plots going on with, some wealthy citizens in the town and a weirdo sheriff and a coroner that looks exactly like the sheriff and talks almost exactly like the sheriff, except for one small speech difference, which apparently makes them totally different people. But you're like, yeah, no. Yeah. It's all very tongue-in-cheek. But there is some bizarre shit in this game. Like a couple of the most amusing parts is a clown called Ransom, who's one of the main characters. He's basically an insult clown. So think basically Dave Chappelle in clown makeup that he can never take off, essentially. That's basically what this character is, yeah. Or Triumph the Insult Dog. It's probably a better comparison. So anyone who's remembered that from American TV. There's these weird, chicks dressed as pigeons who are actually plumbers, and apparently that's their brand. It's so strange. But anyway, there's a lot of referential humor in there for some of the older titles. Great. It's great. I think you'd really enjoy it, actually. So a lot of referential sort of stuff, dating back to some of the original LucasArts games. It's very tongue-in-cheek. It breaks the fourth wall all the freaking time. It actually starts talking about some of the principles of good game development. There's a bit where you are doing something that could result in what you would assume to be death, and one of the characters sort of speaks up and says, but no, good game designers have realized that death in games isn't actually a good method of game design because it's not actually fun and all this other stuff. It's just it's hilarious. So, but the game is hard. It's actually really, really big too. I've gotten, I had a bit of a sneaky look at roughly how long the game was without sort of spoiling any of the puzzles for myself. And I've spent probably a good 6 hours in this game, and I'm not even probably 15% of the way through. So there's a fair bit of content there. And the good thing is that there doesn't appear to be too much moon logic, which is kind of when you play those point-and-click adventure games and it really takes a leap of faith to sort of work out how to use a particular item in a particular circumstance. A lot of it is very logical, which is good. I mean, probably the weirdest thing I've encountered so far is having to sort of use one character over the other end of town while one of the other characters is over the other end of town to sort of call someone up and get them to move out of a room that you need to investigate. So there's some weird kind of abstract stuff like that. But yeah, game is cool. I would highly recommend it. It's a certain type of humour. So if you're into that kind of thing, you'll probably identify with it straight away. If it's not your thing, you'll probably identify with it straight away too. But as far as a puzzle game goes, it is very cool. So the story is intriguing, to say the least. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. I'll report back on that one because I'm sure there's going to be some more to talk about.
Where's it available, Thimbleweed Park?
It is on Steam. It literally just came out last week, and I think it's about $20 US. So it's not a super, super cheap game, but given how much content's there, I think you're definitely getting your money worth if you're, you're aware that's the sort of game it is and that's the sort of thing you like. So, yeah.
I will have to check that out.
Yes. Yeah, it's a good one. And of course, I've been playing a stack of Mass Effect Andromeda during the week, which I know you have as well, Jam. Where are you at with the old Mass Effect?
Not as much as you. I'm working on cleaning up side quests on 3 planets before I go to what I understand is the ice planet.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, that's where I'm at approximately. But I'm not in a hurry. At the moment, I don't feel too much pressure, so I'm just kind of cruising along. That announced patch that's coming out on Thursday, I'm looking forward to that. That's very promising. Some of the things that have been irritating me are hopefully addressed to some degree. I was particularly interested in not just the obvious, lip syncing and facial weirdness, but the option to skip autopilot, because I'm getting a bit sick of it already. Even though it's a very pretty galaxy.
Yeah.
It's quite pretty. Space is pretty, but it's just so slow and pauses unnecessarily at points. It's just...
Can I just say that with some of the side quests you have to do is by far one of the most frustrating parts of the game. So, I mean, since we talked about it last week, probably the one thing that I have now cemented a view on is that I'm really underwhelmed by a lot of the side missions in this game, mostly because a lot of them are very formulaic, sort of just go from this planet to this planet and talk to this dude or go to this point and click on a thing. There's not a lot of interaction beyond that, and it seems really sort of fetchy in a way.
See, I wasn't sure if it was just because I haven't played a lot of the game yet, but I feel like there's less actual encounters than previous games.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I would agree.
Especially the protracted, sequence encounters that gain you access somewhere. And I understand it's probably because, it's open world now. You've got a lot of choice. You're not doing this linear thing, which makes it really easy for them to ambush you at set points. But I don't know. It just...
The loyalty missions are by far the best part of the game. Like, no doubt. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, because they actually do have sort of cutscenes and story elements that sort of relate to all of the loyalty missions. I haven't finished all of them. I've done all of them except for 2, I think.
Well, I don't think I've started any, so that's promising. Very promising.
Yeah, well, they pace them well too. Like, I don't think it's actually possible to do all of them too early in the game. You get access to a couple of them early on, and then you get access to a couple more later.
Yeah.
But, I mean, depending on which characters you really like in the crew, you'll enjoy their loyalty missions. I think most of them are pretty good. I haven't had any that I've not liked, so, yeah.
So I've met Jarl.
Oh, yep.
Did I mention this last week? No, I think I only met him... Anyway,
I've
already seen his butt.
Oh, yeah.
That was hilarious. So funny.
He's a character that grows on you a lot, I got to admit. He's very different.
I'm very intrigued by the character. Yeah, just the emotive side of that whole new race is very interesting.
Yeah. He's a bit of a bro by the end. He's a bit of a bro.
Oh, good. Maybe a little more for me.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. I'm finding some rather humorous moments, which have got me giggling to myself like an idiot.
Yeah.
So, still hopeful, still having fun, still feels like Mass Effect.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm hoping the patch on Thursday just improves that even more.
Have you, by any chance, started the movie night quest yet? Has that come up for you?
I have acquired movies. I have not yet.
Okay,
Gone
I'll give
further.
you one warning. That is the most bullshit quest in the entire game. It is fucking trash. So-
Well, I'm at a point where I don't think I can progress until certain other story things.
Yeah,
Apparently,
yeah.
it's on hold, basically.
yeah, there's certain planets that you need to uncover to go to and things like that. So
Really?
yeah,
interesting.
It's one of the worst examples of what I just said with regards to the sort of planet hopping from one place to the other. It's just repetitive
bugger.
and frustrating. So yep. And
well.
the payoff at the end is not really worth the effort you put in my opinion. You may have a different opinion, but yeah, it's
I'll let you know.
humorous, but yeah. So I finished the game today. I still have a bit of content
Holy
that I
shit.
have not done yet. So a few side quests that I've not completed, and I've got 2 of the loyalty missions that I've not done yet either. But fortunately, the game is sort of built in a way that you can finish the main story and still go back in and do that stuff. So that's good.
Question?
Yeah.
Who did you romance?
PB. Yeah. No, she's pretty cool. I don't mind her at all. And there were other characters along the way that I sort of did stuff with as well without sort of spoiling anything. So
Just casually. Why not?
A few flings on the
with.
side. Exactly.
Oh
yeah.
gosh.
A whole new world.
Yeah, no, it was good. The final sort of story sequence, without any spoilers whatsoever, I was extremely impressed with the story elements of it. Like, it really felt like old school Mass Effect. But from a mechanical standpoint, I was super disappointed. So, yeah.
Okay, don't say anything else or I'll have to hit you.
Yeah, that's cool. I think there are better
Doing a
elements
lot
to the
of
game
jam
elsewhere.
spoilers right now, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have
I don't
different
even want
standards for that sort of thing.
expectations.
So yeah, look, it was still good. I was still satisfied in a lot of ways. Just it was different to what I was hoping for. So
Okay.
yeah. So see what you think. Go through it, and it's suitably epic at least, is what I can say. So
All right, cool.
it's good, like all the
All right.
other games are.
Stop there.
Yeah.
We'll stop there. Okay?
there.
Let's just stop there.
Well, the Mass Effect Andromeda patch was lucky to make it out alive because this week has been a week of skepticism on the internet, with a great thanks to April Fool's Day.
The one day of the week the one day of the year where everybody actually bothers to fact check.
Yeah,
The
I
one
loved
day
all
of
those
the
that came
year.
out. Yeah, the one day of the year people see things on the internet and do their research.
Yeah.
Except for my wife, who gets stung every year.
Yeah. We always fall for Luke's bullshit. Why
And
don't we
this
see
year
it coming?
particularly, Luke is now dead to me.
Yeah.
I was feeling a little worse for wear on Saturday morning, and I woke up to your message. Luke, for those who are listening at home who do not realize, I am a absolutely huge Critical Role fan, which is Geek and Sundry's online D&D. They stream D&D live
and
every week.
I'm getting there. I'm on episode 13. They're out of the Underdark.
Jim, you've only
Shit
got
went
like
down and I was like,
71 episodes to go.
I'm getting there though. It's
You are.
progress. I'm not falling
It's-
behind maybe anymore as much.
Maybe. Yeah, you're watching an episode a week at least. You're
Yeah.
getting there. So the message that I read on my phone, so I was just waking up, not feeling super fresh, look at my phone, and Luke's like, OMG, they've just announced that the Critical Role guys are coming to PAX in Australia. And I just sat bolt upright in my bed. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And then I was like, I messaged everyone saying, oh, this is amazing. This is so great. And I was like, that's really exciting. And then part of me was like, you have notifications for every single alert that Geek and Sundry put out, that any of the people in Critical Role put out, and none of those people have announced it, I feel sure. And then I was like, oh crap, it's the 1st of April. God damn it. Every year Luke gets me. I was so excited.
Yeah.
I just figured it out in time for him to say April Fools. It was the worst. And yeah, now nothing that Luke says I will trust. Not just on April Fool's Day. So,
Oh, come on, that's a bit
not me
harsh.
this year.
I get a 12-hour
no,
a
it's
year
not harsh at
license
all.
to troll you.
You crushed. I felt disappointed the whole day. So it was like you got your lols out of it, but I was like, oh, that's not going to happen. That's really sad. I'm never going to see them because I don't live in the United States.
Oh, look, the
Thanks,
greatest
Luke.
fool could be if they actually turn around and do announce something after the fact. I'll be like, well, shit,
make it
hey?
happen, Luke. Go on then.
Yeah, make it. It's up to you now. It's up to you.
Yeah, no,
so
that's cool.
the game industry was rife with April Fools, however. So we had some real doozies. We had Doom release and tweet out that the game would now be available special nostalgia version on floppy disk.
I love it.
So great.
Which was an absolute pile of floppy disks, to be honest. We had them announce the Tabletop ESL League, so an esports league that is tabletop gaming with full announcer commentary and everything else. I fully recommend if you're a tabletop gamer, you look that up because the esports commentary on top of it is gold.
It's so good. Natty 20.
Yeah.
Natty 20.
We also had the, what are they called from the StarCraft 2? StarCraft 2, is it the Overwatch, the Overlords?
Yeah, the Overlord announcer pack, yeah.
Yeah. So, and if you've ever played StarCraft 2, you know that the Overlord doesn't really speak.
No.
It's kind of just
Kind of bubbles
noises.
and gurgles, yeah.
Yeah. And many other abounds. Did you guys see any good ones?
I love the Armello ones that we saw. So there was, I think there was
the
3 of
Armello
them. Yeah, they had the
Starmello Wars.
the Alyssa War Builder skin pack, which was basically a Trump version of Alyssa. They had Guitar Mellow, so the Guitar Hero version of Armello.
Oh, that one was amazing.
Guitar Mellow. The
want
Trump
it.
one was great. It was like Alyssa will build a wall and the rest of Armello will pay for it.
Yep.
It was it was great. I did read a tweet from Darcy, who's the community manager for League of Geeks, who make Armello the day afterwards, and he's like, I have to say that starting my day by justifying the cost of April Fool jokes was not the best way to start my week. But it was well appreciated. They did a really good job, and I really enjoyed seeing lots of things. Every year, though, there's always those people who don't quite figure out until later in the day. And here in Australia as well, we get a double doozy. So usually you would say, I'm safe because it's past midday, sorry. So therefore, if they play an April Fool's joke on you, they're the fool. Like, that's how it works. But because America is behind us and a lot of the media we consume is from America, we were getting April Fools for days.
Oh, yeah. I just love
and
it.
of
There's some
course-
of the creativity that you see on this day, though. Like, you know, if you look at it from the perspective of, okay, take everything with a pinch of salt, some of the stuff that is, you know, obvious gags, very identifiable. But some of the businesses out there that just come up with really funny shit. It's just a great day for entertainment if you look at it in the right way.
Did you see
It is.
Reddit's?
The
No.
Reddit, the April Fool's
my
pixel by
God.
pixel
The
painting
canvas? The
was
Upper's canvas?
amazing.
It was phenomenal. Just following it for the few days it was up. Oh my God.
So you could
It
go in
started
and
as
what was
a-
it? Every minute you can change
Every
one
5
pixel.
minutes.
Every 5 minutes.
Every 5 minutes
each
you
user.
could recolor one
Yep.
pixel out of many, 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 many thousands. It led to, it started as a mess, and then people started forming groups representing their subreddits, and then that led to alliances and conflict and people trying to take over other people's turf.
How,
and then
how is that an April Fool's thing, though? That just
friendships
sounds like a cool creative
Dude,
project.
It was a thing. It had there was nothing except here's a blank canvas. You can change a pixel every 5 minutes. Everything else was the user,
Okay.
and it was
And
phenomenal.
it just
you should
happened
seriously
that
look it up.
was on April Fool's Day.
It
Some
sounds like
absolutely
it sounds a bit
beautiful
like
things.
a Photoshop version of Twitch Plays Pokemon or something like that.
It's just it's magical.
It was pretty
The
good.
time
And
lapses are extraordinary.
Yeah, there's a couple of time lapses that are pretty great. The spread of the void was my favorite. Just people who want to see the world burn, who were just busy changing everything to black or blue.
Yeah, and then Stray is just trying to make a Steve Irwin holding a crocodile.
Oh,
like,
Reddit.
all right, mate.
Reddit,
good.
so close to everyone's hearts and mine. Speaking of controversial, as Reddit often is, and their April Fool's jokes, something that probably wasn't seen as much of a joke here in Australia was a game that garnered way too much mainstream media attention. It is called P-Platers. It is being developed by somebody, a gentleman, I believe, in Adelaide or in South Australia, so a smaller state here in Australia. And it came into controversy because it is a very factual representation of Adelaide as a city, but it has elements in it that are inspired by GTA. So if you ever think about GTA Online, you can go around and you can shoot people, etc. The very faithful recreation of Adelaide included things like police stations and police cars and policemen. So, of course, mainstream media hopped on this as quick as they could, got as many psychological experts in to talk about aggressive gaming and the impact that has on the community, and put together a very shambled piece on Channel 9, so, which was brought to my attention. The thing is, now the game P-Platers, the developer, has since come out and said, look, he did not mean any offense, and he is removing things that he sees as controversial or infringing on copyright, that he simply wanted to showcase Adelaide and that he loves Adelaide and the city of Adelaide. So as close as he could make a game in that setting was what he was trying to achieve. And he does not want to offend anybody. And this is, a personal project. It's a bit of a passion project that's been happening since 2014. And he's just, a lot of people are describing it as similar to a mod, but it is its own game. It has been built from the ground up, but that because he thought had a look at the things like the GTA mods and how he wanted to change them. So he's just sort of recreated his whole thing. Sort of brings up the argument of if you choose to play something, then you need to be aware of what the content is, and then art versus, doing things because it gets a rise out of people. And I guess there is still some small part of me that thinks very skeptically and thinks that this is a great way to get advertising. We spoke about this with Outlast 2, in that no press, all publicity is good publicity. So maybe this will work in their favour, but certainly the South Australia Police Department were not impressed at all and actually spoke of legislation that they could call in if the game was to be released. Of course, it's not released, it is simply at screenshots and it's got a couple of videos on the internet, but I don't know, I think we're going to see more and more of this. We've got a lot of developers out there who are doing their own projects and independently of big studios who usually would kill this sort of project. And thankfully the articles that have been written afterwards acknowledge that the video game industry in this country is $1 billion industry, so we need to start looking at it as such and maybe have a bit more of an open mind about some of the games. But also, there does seem to have to be a line. We talk about this lots of times. Like, there's games that I will not play, and for example, Battlefield 1 is one example. It's a bit too close to real and historic in terms of you get to go around and shoot people in the face and all those types of things, and I don't enjoy doing that. But the news pieces that usually come out is, they're talking to people on the street, and you get Joe Blogs, what's your opinion? And they go, you shouldn't do that, and then somebody else says you should have the right to make your decision, and then someone utters free speech and everyone melts into a puddle on the internet, which is effectively what happened. So we'll keep an eye on it. I like that the developer came out and said, look, I don't want to be offensive, rather than taking a very defensive stance and saying, it's my artistic impression. He said, look, it's my artistic impression, but it wasn't meant to cause offense. I'm happy to remove it. People
are far too easily offended these days. I think that, it's just like any sort of show that used to, rely on a crass or, a sense of humour that was directed at particular, classes of people or races of people. And there's a lot of comedians that, push that button and are very, very well known for doing it. I mean, you take your Chris Rocks and, even some great Irish comedians make fun of different races and nationalities, and that's all considered to be fine because people who go along to their shows, that's what they expect. That's exactly what they've signed on for.
It's about context, though. So if you look at this game as a whole, it's a very small part. And you look at the story as a whole, the developer's happy to change things and those types of things. But if you take things out, like if you took one joke out of a comedian's sketch that was particularly offensive and didn't include everything, so it was out of context, then yes, it probably would be viewed the same way. And unfortunately, with things like video games, that's what usually comes out. We see the same, every time they talk about violent video games, inverted commas, on the news, we see the same group of games herded into that pen and like little video clips. And those games are Call of Duty, GTA, and many other besides. What's that one? Dead by Daylight. Those types of things. Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see. It would be great to see our country supporting developers, but it would also be great to see developers being cognizant of maybe the country's not ready for that just yet.
And also just being careful of, using, I guess, an image that doesn't belong to you. Because that's the concern. There was
instances of copyright, as well.
Yeah, and also, in GTA you've got Liberty City PD or Los Santos PD. They're fake. They're not real, so, it's all fake. But when you've got the actual South Australian Police Force represented in-game, it's a bit different. But it's nice to see that there's been communication and it's been constructive and people are being receptive and, we're all adults. We can discuss these things and figure it out without getting too worked up.
It's certainly a different conversation than we would have been having 5 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
About a game like this. So
no doubt.
That's good. It's progress. Way to go, team. Good job. So yeah, it's called P-Platers. Keep an eye on it if that's interested. If you just Google P-Platers or Adelaide GTA, you will find articles on this and you can learn more about it and make up your own mind. Things that happened this week. So last week we talked about half-truths and, rumors and everything else. And this week has just been announcements of release dates. Hooray! So one of the first things that happened in the last week is that we got a full Destiny 2 reveal trailer and confirmation on PC and a release date. So it will be out on the 8th of September, which fans are very excited about. The fact that it will now be available on PC, the first iteration was not, is also incredibly exciting.
Yep.
Will that change what you guys pick it up on, or is it still slated for PS4?
I think it'll depend on the group. I want to play with the group.
Yeah.
So wherever the group goes.
It's a tough call for me, actually. I actually don't know. It very much depends on whether I've upgraded my PC between now and then as well, because, if I wouldn't probably play it on my current spec machine, I'd probably want to soup it up a little bit more. So it'll be console unless I can do that. But I think I'm with Jam. It depends on what the majority are going to play on. Because Destiny is definitely a social game. It's one of those games you want to play with a bunch of people, I think. So
yeah, I don't know if I'll pick it up, but if you guys pick it up on PC, then I'm out. 110% out.
PlayStation it is.
Yeah, I played a little bit of the first one, but you guys have seen my FPS. Like, it's not brilliant. Having said that, I played a lot with it.
Did you enjoy
Jam, did I enjoy Halo?
Yeah, those noises were totally enjoyment and not rage.
Yeah, we enjoyed Halo because we were playing it together. But
exactly. That's kind of the point I was getting at. So I think that's the same sort of experience in that respect. So
yeah, but you guys are all going to go like full serious, like level up. It's definitely going to be one of those games that you guys will take off and like be like super high level and everything.
I will always be happy to poodle around with you.
Yay, poodling. Poodling around definition is just running around not doing anything in particular, but still fun. Poodling.
Just not try hard.
Use in a sentence. Poodling around.
Looking for the hidden things. Just exploring.
Speaking of poodling around, Heroes of the Storm there was a big announcement by Blizzard that Heroes of the Storm version 2.0 is already in beta. It was on beta as of the 29th of March.
Had a little bit of a hint that this was coming because there's been a lot of high-profile sort of Blizzard streamers that have been going to secret meetings over the last few weeks. So, yeah.
So you're more on top of that than I am. And I talk about, Heroes of the Storm being poodling around because we have been sitting on our hands in terms of getting back into this game. We enjoyed playing this game as a team. We enjoyed playing it a lot.
Yeah.
There was definitely times where we were like, I'm a little bit done with it now. But
it's a great game, but it just suffers from the same thing that almost all of our games do, in that they have to compete for priority with other stuff that we love playing. So
compete for our love.
I had to uninstall it to make room for a thing.
Yeah. So now every time I'm like, hey, how about we play Heroes of the Storm? James like, I haven't got it installed and I've got slug internet. So
pretty
you're gonna have to. I think you're gonna have to install 2.0. And I'm gonna have to give it a go. But it will be available. The update will be available on April 25th for everyone else to play. The major changes are removal of level cap and the change to the way that you will level. So now you used to be able to level like characters and yourself, and it was all separate. And
weird.
So you'd have like this. If you were a more generalized player, which encourages you to be, then you really weren't getting any benefit because all of your leveling was sort of really spread out. And you do get to a point where the next level is just eons away and it just feels like you're never going to get there. Now all of that experience will be lumped together. It's going to be something very similar to the Overwatch system in terms of you'll get loot boxes and those types of things for different levels and things like that. So it's going to be a cumulative level as well as individual levels for your characters. So that's kind of cool. I think they're listening to, if people are dropping out and then coming back, it's rewarding the people who've been there for a while or who play lots, and it's also allowing entrance for the new players. I think they've learned some things from the Overwatch system that will play well.
In fact, when it does go live, people who have existing sort of levels or stuff in game will get a whole bunch of things to open immediately as well, which is kind of good. So
free stuff.
One of the best things I think about the way that they're structuring the loot boxes for this new update, though, is that they've actually got different loot box rarity levels as well. So they've actually got like epic loot boxes and rare loot boxes, which you get at different intervals of the level up process. So you can actually guarantee, I think it's every I'd have to check the stats on it, but it's every 5 levels. I think you get a rare loot box, so you're guaranteed to have one rare item in it. And then I think it's every 10 you might get the epic one. So
interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if because Overwatch flowed to Heroes of the Storm, I wonder if that will flow back to Overwatch.
Maybe.
And that, there'll be levels sort of that you'll reach, which will be, because now you get the portrait, your portrait changes, but I wonder if people will get, guaranteed rare box or those types of things in Overwatch. We'll see. We'll see. Another announcement, solid announcements. We've got 2 more big ones that came out this week. So Warhammer Total War 2 has been announced by Creative Assembly. It is due to be released before the end of 2017.
Now, they took a risk with this one. They announced it on the 31st of March. So timeline-wise, a lot of people might have seen this and thought, is this an April Fool's gag? So,
Was it UK time that it came out on the 31st?
I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So it would have been... A lot of people would have seen it in Australia on the 1st.
Yeah.
For the first time. It's so great. Awesome. It looks really good. I'm really sad. I'm saddened by this announcement because that means I haven't had time to play the first one, and I really wanted to. So I might have to up my PC game and pick up Total War 2 when it's announced at the end of the year. Hopefully by the end of the year I've got a bit of a beast to play PC games with. Keep everything crossed, folks.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't look like it's necessarily going to be a massive iteration on the way the game engine works for Total War Warhammer 1. It looks like it's going to be sort of just like a new big map area and new races as opposed to being a completely new way to play the game. But they have sort of said that anyone who owns the original Total War Warhammer and purchases the sequel will get like a big bonus map which combines regions from the old and the new together. So that's going to be available shortly after the release, which is cool. So that indicates that they've both been designed to work very much together, and for multiplayer that would be sick. But there's 4 new races coming with this one. They've announced 3 of them as the High Elves, the Dark Elves, and the Lizardmen. The 4th one they're keeping under wraps, but I'll tell you right now it's going to be Skaven. There is no doubt. I know this area of the Warhammer world, and I'm calling it. There is no other race it could be. So, yeah.
It's going to have a lot to compete with at the end of the year, and one of those things may be Star Wars Battlefront 2, which was announced to be a game the day before the last iteration was announced, so everyone's pretty much been waiting for this for a very long time.
Yup.
It now has been officially released to be released in the American fall, so our spring in Australia, so sort of around that sort of busy September, October time. Not many more details at the moment, and I'm not a massive Star Wars Battlefront 1 or initial player, so we'll see how that sort of progresses, but a lot of fighting to do in the announcement space this week, which I'm surprised, like we said, because of the April Fool's week. So there's sort of all of these April Fools came out, and then a couple of days later, all of these massive reveals sort of drop. And we spoke about it before the show. It has been the week of the sequels.
It has Destiny 2, HOTS 2, Warhammer Total War 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2, a lot of twos.
Does that mean we're going to get a date release from Rockstar for Red Redemption?
Oh, God. Yeah. I hope so. The back half of this year is going to be Mad Munch all over again. Like, I think AAA season this year is going to be crazy. It's going to be absolutely nuts.
Pretty much, yeah. March and April was a bit crazy. Now we're in this kind of nice lull where we get a chance to play a couple of the games that we've sort of missed as bigger things that come out, and we get to chill out and play some fun games, and then in September it all goes mental again.
Oh, I don't know. There's a bit of stuff to look forward to in the next few months, though. I mean, we've got, of course, Dawn of War 3 coming out real soon in April.
Oh, of course. I forgot about that.
That's not so much everybody. That's definitely going to be an Ollie and me thing, that's for sure. We've got Prey coming out on the 5th of May. There's something else happening on the 5th of May, which I can't remember. It might be Guardians of the Galaxy 2, actually.
Dawn of War might be something that I have to pick up.
Dawn of War is great. Like, the franchise is very, very cool. And as an RTS franchise, particularly the first one was very good. And it looks like more of the model they're going to follow this time. But yeah, immediately after April, May, of course, we've got all of the E3 shenanigans happening in mid-June. So there's going to be a fair bit of stuff to keep us entertained in the next few months.
Well, that'll be announcements and things. Yeah. Yeah, keep us busy. Well, the last week has been keeping us busy with Party Game of the Month.
That's right.
Yay!
This time we are reviewing, in the vein of talking about the number 2 across all of the announcements this week, we are going to be reviewing a game tonight by the name of Death Squared. So you can just picture that little number 2 up next to the death, if you like. There you go. So, Death Squared. Now, we didn't actually announce this one in the traditional format because we got invited.
I will just point out that if you're searching for it, it is Death Squared as 2 words.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Way
square
to be confusing, Luke.
Yeah. Good job,
I'll put that
Luke.
in the show notes, yep. So yeah, the reason why it is called Death Squared is because, of course, the two main characters in the game are little cubes, so you got the whole sort of square object thing going on there. But anyway, it is a game by SMG Studios where we're invited by sort of being given some early review copies of this one to check it out in time for release, which I think was a couple of weeks ago now, be a week or two ago. So yeah, we got to spend a bit of time playing this one during the month and sink our teeth into the puzzles that it contains. So yeah, let's kick off now and give our thoughts. So Jam, do you want to give us the basic sort of overview of what is Death Squared?
Okay, so Death Squared is an awesome little puzzle game where if you're playing in the single player story mode, you control two little cube robots who are navigating over squares, using triggers to shift things, move things, turn lasers on and off, like all sorts of chaos is happening, and you need to get them both to their coloured circle, which starts off really simple. By the end of it, it's rather complex. It's also got some voiceover of a guy called David, who works for Omnicorp, who's responsible for testing the robots, talking to his AI, Iris?
Yep.
Iris,
I think it's Iris. And they're like, just talking over while you're trying to figure out these puzzles. It gets quite humorous towards the end. Quite funny. And it's friggin' adorable. I really enjoyed it. At first I was like, because I love puzzle games and I have a lot of experience with puzzle games. And at first I was like, yeah, okay, pretty routine. By the end of it, oh my God, Imogen heard me swearing.
Oh yeah.
Just trying to get through the complex levels. And then having that epiphany, that moment. Like, I'll spend 6 solid minutes thinking, I'm an idiot. I can't even make it go left when I need it to go left. To, oh my God, I'm the smartest person in the world. I've solved it. So it's one of those. And I love those.
Yeah.
They're my kind of game.
So puzzle games, Imogen, is this the sort of thing that was your jam? Or
I am so done with puzzle games. If the next party game of the month is a puzzle game, I will shoot myself. In my gaming hand, that's where I'm going to shoot myself, so I don't have to play the goddamn. I get it. Puzzle games are great for us to try out, and this is all about stepping outside our space. But we've had like solid puzzle games back to back for like ages, and oh gosh, that moment where Jam's describing where you feel really stupid, and then you have the genius moment. I never have the genius moment. I'm just stupid. I spend all puzzle games talking about how stupid I am, and that's why I don't like them.
Well, this game for the single player sort of mode has 80 levels, and of course there's a multiplayer mode which has 40 levels, which we didn't really get to try out as much as we would have wanted to.
We will though. This would be so much more fun with people because then Jam can tell me what the solution is, and I just have to move.
Yeah, as a party game, I could see it being a good sort of fun couch co-op sort of experience. You could,
Yeah, there'd be high fives.
yeah.
People would swear at each other.
Swearing and yelling. It's not going to be high fives. It's going to be a talk show.
It's a perfectly built game for like a group like the four of us. If we all happen to be in the same room together, it'd be a whole
really
bunch of fun.
is.
Yeah,
It's so well crafted. The precision that you need for so many of these puzzles is extraordinary and so
You
satisfying.
can even get caught on the edges of things and you kind of skitter around a bit. I don't know. I'm going to say, so I'm just spitting vitriol at it. It is a great game. Just because I don't enjoy puzzle games does not mean that I think it's a bad game. I think it's a great game. And everything that Jam was saying about the announcer and Iris is perfect. It's beautiful and it's the best way. And I can put little outfits on the guys. I can make them spray painted different things. Mine has a mustache.
I thought
of course
you'd
it
love
does.
that
Yeah, I did. I really love that bit. And as soon as I could figure out that in between, like if I paused it, I can change their outfit. So if I got really angry at them, I'd make like angry faces. And just take time out from calling myself stupid.
It's okay, Death Square. It's not your fault that Mimo's a dum-dum. It's all good.
It's really not. It's my fault that I can't think spatially. It's because I'm special that I can't think spatially.
That's all good. No, it's a really interesting feeling when you do the first few levels, and particularly the levels where you kind of need to move both cubes simultaneously in different directions.
Yes.
Yeah, it's tough. It reminded me a lot of like
a
a video puzzle game equivalent of trying to rub your tummy and pat your head at the same time.
Mate, later on, that's like every level.
Yep.
Exactly. And as soon as I realized that was a thing, I was like, oh God damn it, because I'm doing on a keyboard. So mine are the WASD keys, so WASD, and the direction keys. And so once they move to the other side of the screen, they're the opposite side to where my hands are. And oh my gosh, everything was backwards. And
it's the same for controller.
Person.
And I got them mixed up so much. It's such a huge cause of my deaths. But I would highly recommend. It's got full controller support on Steam, and it's wonderful.
So you use the D-pad and the joysticks, or you use joysticks?
Just joysticks.
I was the same as you, Imogen. I used the keyboard. Gosh. I found the keyboard a lot easier personally.
I think joysticks. I don't think I'm in control of my Xbox controller enough to not fling them off the edge of the puzzle.
There was a lot of that. There was 329 deaths.
Oh wow!
I got up to a lot of just stupid. Oh god damn it! The other one was supposed to go left.
Yeah.
So we should talk about what it cost and where we can get it. So we have it on Steam. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen it anywhere else, actually. It is $20 US at the moment. From what I've played, I've only played 20 levels. I think it's well worth it. Especially from the party game perspective, from the couch co-op. It's not online multiplayer. And I guess we sort of look at that and go, oh, bummer, because we have all of the things and the people involved, and we would easily get a game of 4 people to play it. But we have to keep reminding ourselves that that's not everybody's circumstance. So,
I think in this game's case in particular, any lag at all would probably kill you.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Latency would be your worst nightmare. It just
and you'd have to build
work.
in a voice chat. I don't know that you could do it over text. Very
100%
either.
no.
So it's way too much. So I look at it and go, I wish it was online, but it's not feasible for it to be online at all.
I understand why. I finished the game, all 80 levels. Oh my god!
Well done. I got up to about 43 or something.
Was 4 or 5 hours of play, and they just progressively got harder. The mechanics that kept getting introduced to completely mess up the slightest mistake.
I hate the lasers. The lasers scared the shit out of me. Made me jump every time. Every time I got zapped by a laser, I jumped or screamed.
Yeah, it's remarkable, though, because it uses a 3D space. They're not just navigating two-dimensionally. You need to coordinate shifting up and down as well to avoid obstacles, to draw lasers away or avoid lasers. There are transparent coloured cubes. You can go through your own colour, but you get obstructed by the opposite colour.
That's a really cool mechanic to add another layer of puzzle.
That completely changes how really cool. The different robots can navigate.
They can stand on each other's heads.
Yep.
They can. That's a crucial thing for getting around.
I love that What's-His-Face was just like, I have never seen them do that before.
David. The humor's excellent. It's so well written. It's not too in your face.
I thought the humor was very Portal-esque. Very, very Portal-esque.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, it's so been inspired by Portal. Yep. But it was just lovely because it was, a leading comment or short bit of dialogue between Iris and David at the start of the level. And then depending on what happened, if you died horrifically or if at some point I had to have one of the robots motionless for quite a while the other was navigating something, and they'd be like, hello, Red? Are you on? And it's just it's really amusing. And then there's a sort of story develops as you go along that in the 79th level, there's a little tidbit of, okay, that's what's happening. And then some warm fuzzies in level 80. And the credits are funny too. They've scattered them because it's a small team. It's not a huge production, and you can just see their humour throughout it. They've got these fake news articles, and it's worth
the
a watch.
humour serves to break up the potential monotony of puzzle after puzzle after puzzle quite well.
Yeah,
which is good. But one thing I think they've maybe missed a beat on, literally, is that like the music for the game is actually quite cool. It's like this sort of loungy kind of bit techno-y type stuff, but it does get very repetitive. I think they would have done better to sort of mix up the audio a little bit and have some maybe different background tunes for every 5 or 10 levels or so, because when you're on some of these puzzles for like ages, it just does tend to grind into your ears in the background and get very, very monotonous. So that was probably my one complaint about the game.
Maybe you need to get good.
No, I don't know if it's the sort of game you could sit down and do all 80 in one go. I think you probably want to sort of do it across a few different settings, personally.
I did 2 sessions, and I didn't notice the music, but I was just absorbed and focused on the puzzles. The really interesting thing is that a lot of the triggers, like there are beams that aren't deadly, but crossing through them will trigger something. There are buttons that, if the right coloured robot's on it, will trigger something. You don't know what that something is until you stand on it.
Yeah.
And it inevitably kills you or the other robot.
It is a game that
you
punishes
have to
haste.
second guess the game. I did that once where I stood on. I was like, "Oh, that's for sure going to kill the red robot."
Yeah.
Doof, he went.
Yeah.
If you get impatient in
Damn
this
it.
game, you will get smashed every single time. So
Yeah, and you need to, for the later levels, they can get quite complex. You need to make those mistakes so that you learn the pattern so that you can progress. And
Yeah,
you can
a
just
couple of tactical
inch your way
suicides.
along. Yeah, and then you discover a new death trap, and you're like, well, damn it, now I have to start that one again.
Well, shit.
But it's so funny. I remember getting to level 50-something and wasting a bunch of lives on one, thinking, oh my God, that one was so difficult. Then I had a cruisy for a while, and I thought, I must have just had that's probably going to be my bad one for the game. Nope.
yeah. You get to a point
Later
where you
on,
get
so I just
frustrated with a
utterly
level, and then
punished.
all of a sudden that level just becomes death.
Yeah, all
pretty
of the
much.
deaths. Yeah, for a puzzle game, which I despise as a genre, just generally, even in real life, if someone puts one of those really complex wood puzzles in front of me, nope. Not happening. That's why I don't do these fucking escape rooms. It's too much. Anyway, but for a puzzle game, it was solid. Like, I didn't get the sound thing, Luke, because I was really focused on what was happening and busy swearing and calling myself an idiot. But for a puzzle game, like, I couldn't fault it. There was nothing in it. It was it wasn't too difficult. Like, the ramp of difficulty is good. I don't like when you hit sort of walls of difficulty, or suddenly they use a mechanic and now that's in everything. That certainly wasn't the case, and you kind of feel like you're being taught something, but it's not obvious. I think it's really well built in terms of, but that, like I said, I'm only 20 puzzles in, but I just felt like already it wasn't too obvious that, okay, I've reached a new, like, oh, I must be on level 5 because now I've got a new thing that's been introduced, and now that thing will be in every puzzle, and now there's this new thing.
Yeah.
It's not that. It goes back and forth, and it uses the space, and it teaches you different things, and that's really good. It's a level of complexity that's still accessible to dum-dums like me.
There's only one other thing that I would add to the game as a feature, which I think could be quite helpful, and that's, I mean, a lot of the maps are designed so that you really are only supposed to view them from one angle, because that's part of the puzzle, sort of, with what you see on that particular perspective. But and I wouldn't expect them to sort of add functionality where you can spin the map or anything like that, but just something which would allow you to maybe tilt it sometimes, I think would be really handy to sometimes see.
That's part of
No,
puzzles,
that's
though.
part
Luke.
of the fun.
You really think so?
They're
'Cause-
not squarely
Yeah.
left and right, back, front and forward. There is a slight angle. When you're using the joystick, makes it easy to run off the edge. You've got to be focused the entire time and move very specifically.
I already encountered
which I
puzzles
think is
where
wonderful.
Yeah, I already encountered puzzles where they were getting so far apart that I couldn't see one or the other.
Yeah,
and
yeah, that's what I
that
mean.
was part of the puzzle.
Okay, all right.
But that was
Really?
part of the Like I feel like that's it's
I don't think it
indicating
happened
to you.
to me though.
Well, maybe you didn't do it wrong like I did. It wasn't the right answer. Like, it wasn't like take them both off the screen and you win. It just got to the point where I was like, well, no, because I can't see that and I can't zoom out or zoom in. So that's obviously not right. So if you could twist the puzzle, I think it would just add too much confusion. And I actually kind of like it the way that it is.
Yeah,
Twisting the puzzle later on would make it easy.
too easy.
Like it
I
would. Yeah,
see.
it would.
Okay.
It would be a bad thing.
Right. Okay,
It would
I understand that.
reduce the enjoyment.
Yeah.
Honest. But yeah, I love the progression of the difficulty. Prior to the last couple of levels, I don't think I spent more than 15 minutes stuck on any particular one. And that was at the extreme. Most of them only took a few.
Yeah.
But it really did, throughout the whole game, mix the mechanics fantastically so that you had to look at each puzzle with fresh eyes and understand what was going on. Okay, this one's got a laser tracking the opposite robot, which means I now have to keep an obstruction between it and them all the time. Plus we've got, a beam trigger, plus, okay, and this one's going to explode if it goes on that button. So it's just, the balance as it progresses is really, really well done. And I found a little secret in the game which was very interesting, and I'm going to try and find out more and see if I can talk about it next week.
Yeah, it was definitely an Easter egg of some sort that you found. It was very cool. Yeah.
Once I finished, I played a couple of games in the vault. I had unlocked some of the 2-player experiments.
So you can only unlock the vault when you've completed all of the single player or the multiplayer mode. Is that right, or is it half?
Yeah, well, there's a 2-player experiments which you need to complete the 2-robot single player experience, and then there's the 4-player experiments which you need to complete party mode to unlock. So I got the first one. Yeah,
I think that's a great idea.
And it just looked like more of the same, but I only played a couple because by then we were, this was just before we started recording tonight.
Do you know,
so
what I'd love to see?
Look at it more.
Yeah.
I'd love them to sort of open this up to the public, similar to how you have the Portal 2 level editor and allow people to actually create puzzles. That would be awesome.
Oh, that'd be cool. I think to develop those tools, there need to be a big audience. So everyone, seriously, if you like puzzle games, check it out. Death Squared by SMG.
SMG, yeah.
It's... Yeah, they're Sydney-based?
I would need to check. I think so.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure they're
Brisbane.
Sydney-based. And it's funny. It's funny. It's very enjoyable, and I'm so
it's
glad
just well made
that I got to play.
That's what if someone asked me for a quote to put on like the jacket of the game, I would put very well made.
I mean, it has to be for the precision they're asking of the player. Like, everything is just, there's one particular way to solve this one, and you have to do it this way, so do it good. So, yeah, everything needs to be operating flawlessly, and it really was.
Mm-hmm.
The background, the sort of atmosphere that the comedy in the background creates is tops. I definitely wouldn't be as keen to play multiplayer if I didn't think it had those sort of elements in it. But now I find out that we have to do all 40 levels of the multiplayer to like unlock more things. I kind of want to do that.
I want to see Jam do this with 2 controllers on her own. Like just, fingers and toes.
Yes.
You can do it.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to go grab my brother's controller.
Yep. Get your brother to do it with you. That'd be hilarious.
I would, except he went, no.
Not challenging enough.
He's got flashbacks of when we Portal 2 together.
Oh, okay.
The arguments.
Yeah. Having experienced that personally, I can understand.
Hey, you got off light. Also, we need to bloody finish that.
Yes, we do. Absolutely. Fun times. All right. Anyway, so that is our party game of the month for this month. Now, heading into next month, we have to make a selection for our next game. So, ladies, are you ready? I have the dice number thingy to select the game.
Yeah, but I don't trust you. I mean, I don't trust Ollie either.
Oh, you can roll if you like. You got a random number generator handy?
Oh, 1 second. My D&D bag's right here.
Oh, okay. There we go. Grab
Meanwhile, we'll do some
polyhedron
music.
Yep.
I'm rummaging. Hang on. Where's my beautiful aluminium? Here it is. Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Give it a hurl.
I'm not looking at the list. Are you gonna hear this? You're gonna hear this. This is metal. This is gorgeous. It's a 7.
Ooh, okay. We have Epic Manager, which has been suggested by our good friend Dave Horn. So, Epic Manager. I have no idea what this game is. Let's quickly look it up.
Epic Manager, I am so excited to play this game. You will not believe. It is a team management strategy game. You basically play the role of a manager of a group of adventurers. So it's a unique crossover, it says in their description, between sports management and classic JRPGs. You get to experience an addictive one more turn mix of tycoon strategy, roguelike elements, roster management, combat, and character progression, all rooted in an epic yet lighthearted fantasy setting. Rated E for epic.
I love the art style.
It's so cute. Dave recommended this game to me for a while ago when we played Darkest Dungeon while I was talking about it. He said,
this is what I was thinking.
Coming out called Epic Manager. You would probably enjoy it. And you know what? I think he's probably right. It was released late last year, so 13th of December 2016. Interestingly, overall, the reviews are mixed, but 67% of the 120 reviews are positive. It is single player, and it is currently available for $17.99 US on Steam. I don't see any information here about other things that it might be available on, but I feel like it will be a Steam only. But yeah, you get to do your management of your fights and everything else and level up characters. And then you've got your tycoon, so you can develop your team. So you can be a team of assassins or you can be a team of tanks.
You can theme it and stuff. Cool.
You totally can. I'm so excited to play this game.
Nice.
Finally, a game I will enjoy.
That seems almost a shame that it's not PvP, because that could be kind of cool if you're sort of doing team management. But I don't know.
Pit our rosters against one another.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I don't know. Might have a different opinion after actually playing it and having a look-see. So, sounds cool, though.
Yeah. On top of everything else, I think Dave's going to be super excited that his game got picked.
Yeah, we're going to have to make sure he plays it at the same time as well, and we could all compare notes. That would be good. Yeah.
For sure,
Cool,
for sure.
cool.
I'm really looking forward to this one. So we'll be playing this, we'll be reviewing it at the beginning of May.
That's right. That's right. Right around the time that Guardians of the Galaxy 2 comes out. Which is totally not related at all. But I want to remember because that's going to be really cool. Anyway, so, if you too want to submit a game idea for our Party Game of the Month segment, all you got to do is send it in to us via all the usual contact methods. So you can send in your idea via email to mail@partyloaded.com. You can send it in via Twitter @partyloadedshow. You can also post it on our Facebook page at facebook.com/partyloaded. And basically what we're looking for is a game that fits the theme of like a game that we could play for fun over the course of a month and do a little review of the first episode of the following month. So we're ideally looking for experiences that are going to be, under 10 hours to get a good feel for the game. We're looking for games that are up to $30, no more. Multiplayer is great, doesn't have to be necessarily those. You can see we've reviewed quite a few games in the past that are and aren't, but we want it to be ideally available on multiple platforms. The best that you can do is digital distribution, because if it's something we can get like off Steam, we can all get it no matter which console or platform we've got, and we can all play it on PC. So that is very, very handy. Mobile games and stuff are cool too, so don't discount those for sure, because we've reviewed a number of good ones of those in the past too.
Somebody recommend Chicken Scream.
Chicken Scream? What is
Chicken Scream? Is like Flappy Bird, except jumping with taps,
I've
use
seen
it
this.
with the volume of your voice.
Yeah.
I can't wait
So
to play
you're
that
literally
game.
doing
I
a
might just
platformer
download that
by
game for
screaming into your
funsies.
phone along the lines of "Buck, buck, buck," sort of thing.
I
my
know
God.
that almost every episode I talk about my absolute enamorment with the Rooster Teeth guys, but if you look up Play Pals Chicken Scream with Gavin and Michael, that is a fun time.
Oh, wow.
Nice. Oh, sweet. All right. Well, also, if you've had a fun time listening to our episode tonight, please drop onto the iTunes app or store and give us a review, or just let us know via any of the other methods as well. We do have video content going up on our YouTube channel as well. You can check that out at Channel Endgame, which is youtube.com/Channel Endgame. So 1 month time, we'll be jumping in and reviewing Epic Manager and rolling up another game then. So that sounds good. I think we've finally got a bit of breathing space for the month when it comes to actually getting some other gaming in.
Speak for yourself. I've got
Yeah,
a bit of a
says
massive game
you.
to be digging into in the next
Yes,
week.
you do. So what are you going to be doing in the next week, Imogen?
I'm going to play Persona 5 and I cannot wait. Oh my gosh. I have never played, really, other than Hatful Boyfriend, a JRPG before. But everything about this game I love, and it was just released yesterday/today. And all of these different reviews and stuff are popping up and coming out about it. And I'm super excited to get dug in. The more I hear about it, the more I'm surprised I haven't even heard of this series of games until now. So
Yep, I'm a little bit
We'll
jealous.
have a special guest. Yeah, we'll have a special guest to help us discuss it next week because I'm a noob and he is not.
Yep, that is
Shadow
right.
Mimo rises again.
Well, I will not be here next week, sadly, so you'll all have to have a grand old time without me, but I'll be sunning it
So
up
sad.
in Bali with the family. But in the meantime, I'm super excited about a little release tomorrow, which is going to keep me busy while I'm away, because the new Journey to Ungoru expansion for Hearthstone drops in less than 24 hours.
gosh.
So, woohoo! Super excited. It's going to be awesome.
Okay, so when you get back, I'll allow you 4 minutes.
No, it's okay. Our guest can handle that for me in my stead.
Curses.
I'm sure he'll be able to talk
We'll be
about
too
it.
busy talking about Persona, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Definitely.
So, Jam, you're going to plow on ahead with your Mass Effecting? You feeling good about where you're
yeah,
at?
still gotta finish Horizon.
Just got notified that Simo has finished Horizon as we've been recording. So,
Ooh.
Everyone's beating me.
oh, Jam, I can't wait for you to finish this game so we can
Yeah,
talk about it.
I
I had
think
a
I'm gonna
great
focus
discussion
on
with
that.
Ollie about it during the week. So, solid.
okay.
Yep.
All right, that might be my main goal.
Nice. Cool. All right, well, anyway, we should all get on with it and hop off and do some stuff. So until next week, have a great time, enjoy the games, and we'll chat to you all soon. Good night.
Bye, friendships.
The Party Loaded podcast is a Channel Endgame production. For this and more great gaming content, bookmark channelendgame.com.